Hello, everyone. My name is Griselda. Hi, thank you so much for being here. I don't think our next artist needs an introduction, but I do want to say a few of her stats because she's been killing it with her latest album, Versions of Me, which has a total of 124.6 million on demand song streams in the US. And Anitta became the first Brazilian artist in the streaming age to earn a number one on the Billboard Global Exclusive, excluding US tally, and a number one on Spotify's global chart with the reggaeton track Envolver, which also topped YouTube's global top music videos. So please help me welcome Brazilian superstar and one of our covers for this issue, Anitta.
Hi everyone!
Closer.
Okay, I come.
Anitta, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. Well, I just want to say that, yes, thank you so much for being here. I definitely want to start off by saying that less than a month ago, I was watching you at the Coachella main stage doing this epic performance, like one of my favorite ones of the show, probably my favorite one. It was also like a historical moment because you were the first Brazilian to perform on the festival's main stage. You were having so much fun on the stage. Was this everything like, what was going through your mind at that time? Was it like a moment of like shock and also like history making? Were you able to enjoy it?
So no, first week I wasn't able to enjoy anything. I just wanted to be perfect. I wanted everything to go amazing, and I was very concerned, and I wanted everything to go exactly the way I imagined. So I didn't have fun at all. Like I tried to pretend I was having, but I was just like trying to make everything go exactly the way I dreamed. And yes, it was kind of like everyone that was in Brazil, they told me it felt like a World Cup for them, because it was like the first time ever of a Brazilian in the festival like that at Coachella, and then it's the first time of a Brazilian in the cover at Billboard. It's the first time of so many things that for Brazilian people that I'm managing to do in my work now, that every single thing there's happening, my country just goes crazy. Whenever we reach the number one on the charts, it was like a holiday. It's just a lot.
Yeah. What was going through your mind when you were going on stage? Was something, did you talk to your brother? Because I know your brother is a big part of your life and in your career. What was going through your mind, and what were you telling your dancers who also had like this amazing attitude and just looked like they were having so much fun?
I mean, but the second week I was definitely having so much fun. I like to go on stage and have fun with the audience and like enjoy the time, because I feel like if I am having fun, everyone else would be like, they will feel the energy and follow up my energy. And I'm very into the energy thing, and I feel like if we are vibing on stage and if I'm having actual fun, people will feel it and they will follow up. So the first week, I was just too concerned, but the second week I was just having a blast. And then I got so drunk. It was so good. I was just like, taking shots in the middle of the show. I was like, yes, it was so good. But the first one was also amazing. I just wanted to make sure it went perfectly. But whenever I went out on stage, it was like, yes, because I mean, it's kind of a responsibility, you want your country to feel they were well represented. So that's why I was so nervous. But right after everything went great, I was like, okay, let's just have fun now. And then I went home right after the show. I didn't even party or anything else. I went home and I kept watching and jumping on the couch like, yes, I killed it. I'm so good.
Obviously, I've always known that everything that I would hear is that you're such a hardworking woman, the hardest working woman in the industry. And after I wrote the story and I got to know you better, it's true. Like, you are nonstop. You've put in the work since day one. Tú solita, by yourself. What has that journey, because it's been a long journey to get to where you've gotten, what has that long journey, how has it shaped who you are, not only as an artist, but as a woman as well?
Yeah, it's very hard because actually people don't realize that it is. Brazil is a Latin country, but we speak Portuguese. So it's a completely different culture. So a lot of times people come to me and say, oh, but it's better right now because Latin music is breaking the world. And I'm like, but I'm Brazilian. We speak Portuguese. It's a completely different things. Like, it's a completely different culture. So people, most of the artists that are famous in the Latin countries that sing in Spanish, people in Brazil have no idea who they are. And they know J Balvin and know Maluma because we had songs together. And the same thing happens with the countries with the Brazilian artists. People in these countries, they don't know who are these artists that are huge in Brazil. It's the language barrier, you know. So before everything else, I needed to go to the Spanish culture, understand it, study about it, learn Spanish, embrace the culture myself, and see if it had something to do with me. And luckily, it had a lot. And then the English thing, it was a lot of it's a big process, you know. It's like sharing my time in 3 different markets. So it's not like, and even for the whole team, for us to understand the time is different. We're not gonna have the same, we can compare to other artists. They are dedicating their times full 100% to one market or to one language. No, I'm sharing with 3, you know. So it's very different, and we need to keep that in mind always, and not and try to not compare with other cases or other things, because we're doing something really different for the first time, a Brazilian person in the business. But and as a woman, for me, it's very like, because it is harder already, you know, being a woman. I used to think it was not. So when I wasn't started, I was like, this is bullshit. And then whenever things started to go harder just because I was a girl, I was like, I don't like that. And then I started to get more, not rude. People say rude. I don't say rude. I would say tough. You know, just come with a little bit more empowerment. Just people can hear you instead of speaking like this. I speak a little bit more like this, you know, so they can hear me out. And I don't know. Yeah, I needed to just be more brave on the things that I wanted to do. Definitely.
There was something that you said when I interviewed you for this story that, you know, when you did decide to go international, obviously you had established yourself in Brazil, but then you were like, well, what's next? You know, I definitely want to go international. And you mentioned feeling scared. Would you say that feeling sort of faded away with time, or is it still kind of scary because there is now, like, you have such a big platform, such a huge spotlight on you, and sometimes like a responsibility to open doors for other artists?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very scared. I was very scared of everything, but I just do the things even though I'm scared, you know? I go scared. I don't care. But yeah, definitely it was like I was risking everything I reached in my country, all the goals I got, all the things that the career I built. I was risking that to go to another market and leave my country and spend more time in another place, in another area, just like risking this whole thing, you know. It's very scary. So in the beginning it was, and then but then I was like, you know what, I don't care. And then I started to just don't care about what's gonna happen, what's next. Or I hate this question, what's next? I don't know. I have no idea what's next. What if I fall and knock my head somewhere and forget everything? I don't know. So I just don't know. I just work. I do things for like what I'm feeling like doing it. But life just guides me to where I should go. You know, I never know exactly what's next, because I can be like, oh, I expect this to happen and then that to happen. Because if it doesn't happen, then you're gonna get frustrated. And I don't like this feeling. I just like to feel like, okay, I've done everything that no one could ever done in my country, so I should be happy with that and don't be thinking about, okay, what's next. Nothing is missing, you know. It's already amazing. Everything there's already done.
That was something that I want to bring up, your brother, That's exactly what he told me too when I spoke to him. Your brother is your partner, also your business partner. He co-manages your career in Brazil. What has this meant for you to have your brother believe in your vision and be your right hand since day one? How did that come about? Like for him to start working with you, and how has that made you feel?
So he didn't actually, but I was too crazy and he was scared of, because if he didn't help me, I would find somebody else, and he was scared of this somebody else I would find would be a bad person and do some bad things to me. So he went just to protect me, and it ended up working amazing, because I went to him and I said, okay, I'm gonna be a singer, I'm gonna be the biggest singer in my country, and then I'm gonna go international, and then this and that. And he was looking at me like, we're so poor and we live in the middle of nowhere. What do you mean? And I said, and you're gonna work with me and you're gonna do this. And he was like, and I think he stopped and he said no, but then he came back and he was like, yeah, I'm coming, because how are you gonna bring to your life to do this whole thing? He was super scared of me bringing someone not trustful. And then he came and it was perfect. And then it's funny because he didn't know what to do, and I studied business and he was studying computer things, like nothing to do with that. And I was just telling him, oh no, do this now, do that. And it was just following up what I was saying. I was my own manager for like 10 years, and then I just couldn't. I was just too much. Like I wasn't living a life. I was just like working and reading all the contracts, making all the deals, closing everything I was doing besides being the artist. So there was this moment I looked at him and I was like, okay, now you're ready. Go and do everything before my mind just goes crazy and I break. Not that I'm not already crazy, but I can go even more. And I need help. And then he was like, okay. So he started to study a little bit more and to find a team, like management here and everything, so I could stop doing the things by myself. And it worked perfectly. And he's just, so before I used to be like the mom for him, and now he's the dad. Now I go crazy, now I do crazy things, and then he takes care of me, you know. I didn't used to go out and have time for myself. I didn't the first time I got a drink in my life, I was 23 years old. I was already on road like since I was 17. The first time I got really drunk was like, I don't know, some years ago, and he was like there taking care and holding my hair like, okay, your first time, let's go, you know. And now I can, like, now that I reached the goals I wanted, I was like, okay, please take my side of this partnership and let me live a little bit more.
Yeah. When you talk about like being your own manager, and I'm not sure if there's like, maybe there's new artists, someone here who wants to pursue a career in music, but I think it would be interesting if you can just sort of talk about that, like becoming your own manager and knowing what to do. Like I know that you mentioned learning in the process, like day to day you learn something new. What was that like for you at the beginning, and how do you think that impacted the artist that you are now, having that manager mentality as well?
Yeah, so I really wanted to do something different. It's never about just money and be famous. I wanted to make different things and to change things to my country and my people. And I couldn't actually find someone that had the vision and respect to my culture and to my wishes the way I wanted. And I wanted to do, I had very clear the way I wanted to do things, you know. And I couldn't find a person that was like caring about me and my beliefs besides the money and the percentage, you know. Like the money and the percentage is gonna come as a consequence of the passion and the love that you do your things. That's what I believe. And I wasn't finding it, so I said, okay, I'm gonna just do it myself. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I needed to figure out. So I was just learning by myself, studying by myself, like taking different courses of like law and music, and I don't know, you know, just to know how to deal with, run my own business, run my own company, and hire my own employees and everything. It was just too crazy. And in this beginning, for me to like build these relationships, like get the right partners and make them work with each other, because like I got different partners like in brands, and then a different for concerts, like an agent for brands, different from the person for concerts, different from the person from, you know, PR. And this, all these people, they needed to connect, and I was the center, and they all hated each other, but they were all so good, and I needed all of them, but they hated each other, and I just needed to be like, no, in the middle of this whole fight. Now they're a family. They are like, wow, they go on vacations together, and I just look like, I can't believe it. But in that time, I was just like trying to make everybody understand each other and talk and communicate, you know? And nobody wanted to talk to the other. They just wanted to call me. I was like, oh my God. So I had like 3 cell phones. It was so much. But now it's just like, it's perfect. I insisted. I made them understand that we depended on each other person's job and that company, you know? And the same happened when we were coming here. I got my manager, and I made him go to Brazil to understand the whole culture and make all the team understand they needed to communicate and respect each other, respect each territory, each culture.
And it's Brandon, her new manager.
Brandon's right there.
Obviously, everyone that I spoke to also said, you know, she's a businesswoman. She knows what she wants. She knows how to tell you that she wants it. What would you say? And I don't know if this is like the right way to ask it, but what would you say came first, the businesswoman in you or the artist in you?
I think the artist, because my mom says that when I was a kid, I was already like telling them that I was gonna sing and the places I was gonna go, and we were like very like humble. We had a very humble family. I was grown up in the communities and the favelas, into the hoods. People look at me and they don't think. Whenever I say, oh yeah, I was born and raised in the hoods in Rio in Brazil, they're like, you? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I don't see why not. It's just because Brazil, it's a mix, you know. I used to wake up and see dead bodies at my door every morning, and that was just that we were used to it. But even in that moment, I used to tell my family, oh, when I'm rich, we're gonna have a house with a big pool, and we're gonna have barbecue and food for everyone. We're gonna eat until we're full and packed with the bellies out. And they were like, oh my God, we don't want to get this girl frustrated, because that's so impossible to happen. But my mom tells me that I used to say like, yeah, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna sing in this place. And I don't know, so I was definitely an artist before everything. But then I started to study business, because my dad told me when I started to like go to school, I'd love to study. But my dad, when I needed to choose the profession that I was gonna study for, he said I needed to choose something that would bring me a quick job, because we were poor, so we couldn't play out like, oh, live your dream. You gotta study something that is going to help you. So I studied business because of that. I hate it, but I was a good student, so that was how it was born, my business side, you know.
And then when did you make that switch of like, you know what, I'm going to be an artist. That's what I want.
So I was working after I graduated in business. I was working in this huge company, and I hated it. I was very good at the work stuff, but I just used to work the whole day with my earphones and singing and thing. And then I also used to sing at the church with my grandfather every Sunday. So there was this moment I was like, they wanted to hire me and give me like a big contract, and I was 17. And then I was like, oh my God, I want to sing. And then I was like looking to one side, looking to the other, and I said, okay, I'm leaving. And I went out. And my dad was like, I told my dad, and he was like, are you crazy? Nobody in your age could get a job like that. Are you crazy? You're giving up. My mom was like, okay, I can turn into a house cleaner if nothing goes right. And I was like, okay, mom. And but nowadays that I got money, my dad says that he always supported. He's like, I was always there. And like, because in the beginning we needed to perform, and like, I was born in the hoods, right? So I don't know if everyone here knows what is a favela, is the actual communities in Brazil, like the ghettos, let's say like that. So the places that I was singing funk music, which is like the hip hop here in the 90s. Like, it was prohibited. It was like, it was considered a crime to sing funk in that moment. But that was my reality anyways. So in that beginning, I was performing in these parties, like promoted by the criminals, like the drug dealer, the traffic parties. But there was no other place for me to go. That's what I was born. I didn't have a choice. So my dad was like, "Oh, you study it so hard for you to sing for criminals," and it was like, "But that's the only place I can sing." But now that everything is perfect, he's like, "I was always supporting you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure." So I gave up on this discussion. I just tell him, yes, he was there always.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned before, and you mentioned it, you've had a lot of firsts as a Brazilian artist. Like I said, with Envolver, you became the first Brazilian artist in the streaming age to earn a #1 on the Billboard Global, excluding US. Obviously, Envolver also hit #1 on Spotify's global chart and the #1 spot on YouTube's global top music videos. And I know that Envolver is a special song because it's one that you believed in since the very beginning. How did you know that that song would be the one, or did you even know that that would be the song to like really propel you to the top of the charts?
Should I tell them how I really know that I was becoming #1? I just had a dream.
You had a dream?
Yeah, no, when we did this song, I just follow my intuition, you know? And when we did this song, I was so sure that it was a hit, and then I needed to do it, and how the music video needed to be, the dance moves, everything. I just had everything in my mind. And it was kind of a fight. Nobody actually believed that I could do it by myself, that I needed a feat on it. And I was like, but nobody wanted to get into the song. No, they wanted a male artist to sing with me. But no artist wanted to sing with me in the song. And I was like, okay, so what are you guys gonna do? Nobody wants to sing. I want to sing by myself. I don't need anyone. Let's go. And everybody was like, no, no, no. And then I just have a crazy connection with the universe, you know? And I had this dream, and then I woke up and I told Brendan, I don't care. Brendan's my manager. I said, it was not exactly like that. It was a little bit more intense, but I don't want to scare anyone here. I don't want to make people feel scared and run away. So I'm just gonna pretend. I'm just gonna be things more like classic and normal, regular. I said, okay, I had a dream, and the song is gonna come out that the day, blah 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 blah, gonna be #1. Blah, I don't care. That's it. It was like, why are you saying that? I said, I had a dream. Let's pretend I had a dream. And then he said, okay, let's go. And then I just knew it. I just felt it. And then my intuition is very good, but then it was taking a minute for the song to reach the charts, and I was like, my dream is not quite right now. My dream is gonna disappoint me this time, not this time, because I was like, I put my money on it. And then whenever it happened, I was like, so now Brennan always calls me to ask whatever decision we gotta make. He's like, did you dream about something? And it's like, it's good.
I love that story. Obviously, también, you just released Versions of Me, which is a great album. I'm obsessed with Gata. That's my favorite song in the album.
Yeah, it's the one that's like the big one right now.
Yeah, and I know that there's a new TikTok challenge for it, which I haven't tried because I always eat.
This one is harder.
It is harder.
It's getting harder every time I do a new, But the butt evolution of the ass. Evolution of the butt.
Okay. As I mentioned, Versions of Me right now has a total of 124 million on-demand streams in the US. Can you talk a little bit more, now that the album is out, the process of creating the album. It came 3 years after your Kisses album in 2019, and I think it kind of marked like a new era for Anitta.
Yeah, that album Kisses was just for me to find a team. To be honest, I didn't have a marketing plan. I didn't have the label outside of Brazil, so that album was mostly for me to find a team. So this album is the one I really count as my first album that I really have like support and team around it. Um, the album we started doing it before pandemic, and then things started to change, and then I just felt like changing the songs and everything. So we just kind of started from the zero, and then I don't know. It just felt it's very like I said, it's my feelings, my intuition. Whatever it comes to this artistic part, it's more about how I'm feeling. It's more about what I listen and I feel good about something. I just close my eyes and I feel when I say, okay, let's go right, let's go left. And my team kind of just learned that I have this thing, and they just don't ask me more anymore. They just go like, okay, let's do whatever she's saying. And because I'm very I'm very reasonable, but I also have this intuition side. And the versions of me just was just an album trying to explain people that I don't like to define myself as something. I like to be a lot of things at the same time. Like, I don't like when people are like, oh, you're a businesswoman or you shake your ass. Like, I like to do both. I can't be smart if my ass is hot. And I just wanted to, be the both things. And that was the intention of with the versions of me, to show that I can play with different rhythms, with different lyrics, and I can be romantic and horror at the same time. Like, I just wanted to show people the different personalities or characters that live inside of me.
Yeah. Obviously, you've done so much in these past years with your career, and as something that we've talked about, Anitta is in recent memory the biggest star to come out of Brazil, but she's doing her thing, but also helping others back home through your management company. You're creating a blueprint and opening doors for other artists because you're building a path. How important was that for you to have this responsibility to hold the door open for others to come through, or is this something that just became a priority for you recently?
No, it was my priority since day one to just open. I think like it's important to understand how the entertainment and the business can change life in general, and like the things, politics, life in general. The first, my team was laughing because I was reading a book about Carmen Miranda. She was the first Brazilian singer, actress, artist to be famous here in America. And then I told them, I'm the second. And she was like the last century, and she was the first artist. She was the artist who created the merchandising, those Tutti Frutti hats that she used to sell in New York. The whole government, the whole politics used entertainment to win the war, to help the country to win the war. And if you read the whole history, you can understand how entertainment helped this whole people, the whole country, and the whole Latin America countries to keep together because of entertainment. So I really believe in the power of entertainment and representativity with artists, and making people feel united and together. And obviously that opens more doors for more people. And I feel that's really important. So for me, that was priority since the day one I decided to become international, because I knew that my rhythm, the funk rhythm, was still considered a crime before I started this movement to bring funk out of Brazil. And I knew that Brazilians would only respect the rhythm and the people that come from the ghetto, that come from the favela, whenever people out of Brazil said, okay, this is a good thing, this is worth it. And that's why I started to work on it, on make people, Madonna, Snoop Dogg, all of these people to sing funk music, so people in Brazil could be like, "Oh, okay, so now funk plays in the radios. Now funk artists are not getting arrested anymore." It's a completely different story for everyone.
Yeah. We're almost coming to an end, but I do want to ask, if you could go back in time, to when you first started, or when you were dreaming these huge things for you, what would you tell the Anitta 10, 15 years ago that you maybe wish someone would have told you?
I wouldn't say anything actually, because I think I already have a crazy intuition. Sometimes I think I had someone telling me things, like what to do, where to go, because yeah, I trusted some assholes in a way, but that helped me, because if I trusted these assholes now, it would be way worse than when I trusted there, in that moment. So I just think it was good. Even the bad things that happened to me helped me to not go through bad things right now. So I like to just let things go the way it is, even because I really think I already have this intuition and these things guiding me somehow. So I don't think I would say anything.
Just let her be.
Yeah, because then you can grow up with your own shit. It's
Yeah.
important.
I do want to ask, I know that you mentioned that it's hard to answer what's next, or to think about that, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh, retired with 5 kids. No, not five, starting the kids. In a farm in the middle of nowhere, after saving my country for this terrible government and president, and with a hot husband, and just planting food, vegetables, doing nothing, running and the field.
Living your life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I tell everyone, like, for you to change the game, you got to play the game. Right now, I'm playing the game so I can be able to change it sometime, somehow. But what I actually love in my life is I'm so simple. I don't have yachts, I don't have private jets, I don't have cars, I don't have a car. I could have one, I just don't. I don't have a car. I just have, I'm such a simple person. I don't care about anything. I'm very I don't even know how much money do I have. I call my brother. I wanted to do the Coachella, and I wanted to go crazy with the stage and the outfits and the dancers, and I just want to change the culture for my country. I wanted to be memorable. And then they came with the bill, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. And then I called my brother and I say, yo, am I gonna get poor if I spend this money in the Coachella? He was like, no, you're fine. And I was like, okay, so let's do it. So I kind of I don't even know how much money I have. And I don't want to know. I don't care, to be honest. If some people just ask me for donations, I'm like, oh, give my money to these people. I'm fine, I just think there are things more important than that. And I am happy that, thank you. I think we're all gonna die and we're not gonna bring this shit to us, you know what I'm saying? And then they say, oh, what about your kids? I said, I work to have my money, they're gonna work too. I know, and I put on my, however you guys call here in America, I don't know how to say that, when you leave your money to your family if you die or something, Yeah, so I put that, I put it that I would give the money to I have a bunch of uncles and aunties and cousins and so many, I love all of them. I put all of them there, but I put, if they start fighting, donate everything. Because if they start fighting over this fucking money shit, just tell everyone to go work and donate the money. I don't want trouble.
I love that. Okay, my last question is, what would you say has been the biggest lesson learned throughout your career?
I think I was talking about that with J Balvin yesterday. Because everyone asks me, because he was interviewing me for something, and he asked me oh, how is it to tell your friends, how is it to have everything? And every time a friend of mine comes, and that's why I always open my house. I'm kind of crazy. Like, I meet people at the street, and if I feel like the person is nice, I bring to my house. And my family is just crazy. They trip because every time I show up with someone, they're like, "Where did you meet this person?" I say, "Oh, in the corner." It was just, I just do that. I just like opening my life to people and help them and bringing sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's fucked up. And, we were just, I think the biggest lesson I learned is like, it's sad that we need to get to the point of having everything to understand that this is nothing, that the real important things in life is not the things that we can touch and we can like have. Like for me, the most amazing thing right now is having a perfect family that doesn't give a F for what I have. They don't ask me for anything. They're just amazing. Like for me, these are the important things. For me to not be afraid of bringing a stranger to my house. Oh, what if this person steal your thing? I'm like, oh, so let this person go. I think I just enjoy people and I enjoy life itself without this whole things that the business, the industry, the market created. So for me, that's the most amazing thing, to understand that life is so like simple that you can just be happy with like, but at the same time to see that so many people don't see it that way. So in the music I see a lot of things that they move around money, around the things they're gonna get from it, and not the main purpose, that it's like art change people's life. And that's it.
Well, Anitta, thank you so much. We've
Thank
run out
you.
of time. But thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Pleasure.